I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com. Today we're going to make butter cookies, and this is what they look like. This cookie is buttery sweet and it's wonderfully crisp. Now I like them just plain, but you could, before baking, sprinkle the tops with some chopped nuts or sparkling sugar. Or another idea, if you like them plain like I do, is to take two after you've baked them and sandwich them together with like your favorite jam, lemon curd, chocolate ganache, or even a buttercream frosting. Wonderful. So, to make our batter, if you have a stand mixer like I have here, use your paddle attachment. You could use a hand mixer, or really you could make it by hand with a large bowl with a wooden spoon. I think this of like an enriched shortbread cookie. So, of course, shortbread, butter cookies, it's all about the butter. So you will need 1 cup, which is 225 grams of butter. Have your butter at room temperature. I'm using unsalted, as you've probably heard before. I prefer the flavor and I like to regulate the salt in the recipe. But if you have a favorite salted butter, you just be fine here. So put that in there. And then we're going to add 2/3 of a cup, which is 135 grams of granulated white sugar. Mine's beige because I'm using an organic cane sugar, but either one. If you wanted, I just like to taste the butter and the sugar in this cookie. If you wanted a vanilla flavor, you could add 1 teaspoon, 4 grams of pure vanilla extract. But today, I just want to taste the butter and the sugar. So I'm going to beat this together and start on low speed and go up to medium high just to mix everything together and get a little bit of air in the mixture. Okay, we are done. I did stop my mixer a couple times during mixing just to scrape down the sides and bottom of my bowl. So now our next thing is to add 1 large egg. Have your egg at room temperature, and a large egg out of the shell is about 50 grams. And I'm just going to beat that in. Okay. Almost done here. Real fast batter to make. And our last ingredient is a separate bowl. I have 2 1/4 cups, which is 295 grams of all-purpose flour, plain flour. And I'm just going to add 1/4 teaspoon, 1 gram. I'm using a fine kosher salt, but you could just use table salt. And, I mean, you could sift it, you could whisk it. I'm just using a fork. Mix that in and add that. Now, I'm going to start my mixer on low speed because it's a lot of flour and I don't want that coming up in my face. And we'll just continue to mix until we have a nice smooth batter. So we're done. Now this is a really versatile batter. Today what we're going to do, or what I'm going to show you, is how you do a slice and a bake cookie. You could take this batter, if you don't want to do a slice and bake, you could chill it and then roll it out and cut it into individual cookies. You know, you could use your fancy cookie cutters and make all different shapes. You can do like a spritz cookie with this batter. So if you have a cookie press, you could press it out, or you could even just use a pastry bag with like maybe a starred tip and just do circles. Let's put this, excuse me. So you can do lots of things, but we're going to do like, this is a really, for like Christmas or something really easy, because we're going to make a log and then you chill the log and then slice it and bake the cookies off. But you could even, like once we make the log, you could freeze the whole unbaked log and then, you know, do that ahead of time. And then when you want to bake your cookies, just take it out of the freezer, slice them and bake them off. So, you know, it's a really great batter. You can have a lot of fun with it. But like I said, today we're going to do a slice and bake. We're going to divide the batter in half. You can just do, you know, eyeball. I'm using my trusty scale, 350 grams per log or thereabouts. Scale makes it, I think a scale makes it easier than me having to try to eyeball it. I'm not too good at that. Okay, so a little bit more. There we go. Okay, excuse me, I'm just going to put this right behind. So we got some room here. I'll move my scale back here, and we are ready. How I do it, I take a piece of plastic wrap. If you don't want to use plastic wrap, you use parchment paper, wax paper, and I just put it down there with this, and take my batter, and I'm going to roll it into a log. So I'm going to do it about 8 inches long, which is 20 centimeters, and about 1.5 inches in diameter, which is that's 2.5, like maybe 4 centimeters. Yeah, about that. So I'm just going to roll it back and forth. Kind of squish it down so you can get first to get any air pockets out. So you can use your trusty ruler for this. And you can just use a knife, get your edges nice. And first we'll roll it. You could do it, if you don't want to do it a round circle, you could do it like a rectangle, square, whatever you like. I have like a pad down here. If you're doing like plastic wrap, sometimes what I do is take a little water and just wet my counter just a little and then put the plastic wrap, just so that you're not sliding, especially if you have granite countertops. It just starts sliding. Okay. You can fuss as much as you want here to get it perfect. So I think I'm getting pretty close, I think, to, that's about 8. Yeah, a little over 8, but. So, when you have it perfect, just like I said, even up your edges. And then what I do is just kind of roll it to get it nice. And just roll it up, like so. Seal the edges. Now, you have to chill this. Now, the big problem I have had. So you put this in the fridge, and it just kind of, because the batter's quite soft, it kind of sinks down. And so I never get that round circle perfectly that I see, you know, everywhere. They're just perfectly round. And I always think, how do they do that? So, you know, I read about you use a paper towel holder. And okay, I'm going to admit, I still don't find it's perfectly round, but it's a lot better than just putting it in like this. So you take your paper towel holder, and what I do is I cut it down so it's like that, and then I just put it right over the top, like so, and then I put it back to normal, and my hands are, hopefully I have some tape here to just tape it up to hold it. My hands aren't too buttery. I take my tape and I just put it so it's back Hopefully that'll, if your hands, you might want to wash them more. And like so. And that is how you do it. And then I just put like that. I think that's just perfect. So you put that in the fridge. We want to chill that. So you could probably at least 4 hours. You could do it overnight. You could leave it like this for a few days and then slice and bake. You could just put this, wrap it up really well and put it in the freezer and freeze it. So then later you can just slice and bake. So that's what I'm going to do. And then when we come back, we will slice them and bake them off. So we are ready to bake off our butter cookies. So first, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 180 degrees Celsius. And then you will need a baking sheet. I've lined mine with parchment paper, but you could just lightly butter it or lightly spray it with one of those nonstick sprays. And then we are going to slice our cookies. I put mine on a cutting board. You will need, although you can eyeball it, I like mine a 1/4 inch thick, the slices, which is about 1/2 centimeter. So I use my ruler, and then, I don't know whether you can see this, I just put my ruler down and then I just follow the ruler every 1/4 inch like that. And then I just take a sharp knife and try to cut straight down so you get the thickness all the same. As you can see, I think they're pretty round. Using that paper towel holder, I think is the answer, at least for me, because I never could have them this round before. So what you need to do, what I try to remember, is every time I use up the paper towel, I keep the rolls and I just put them in the cupboard so that whenever I want to make cookies, I'm not running around the house trying to find an empty roll for this. Just a little tip. So I'm putting 12. You could probably fit 16 at this size. And then all I'm going to do is roll this back up. You don't need to use now it's nice and firm. So you can just put it back in the fridge or, like I said, in the freezer. And if you wanted to, like I said, I like mine just plain. I like just, plain buttery sweet cookie, nice and crisp with my cup of tea or coffee. But if you wanted to, you could finely chop some nuts and put them on the top. If you find it doesn't stick, you could just put a little bit of water and then just press them in. Or sparkling sugar, that's another idea. Or you do both. Some with sparkling sugar and some with nuts. So for baking, the longer you bake these, the more crisp and crunchy they will be. If you prefer like just crisp around the edges but soft in the centers, a little less. If you like it crispy all the way through, a little longer. But what I like them crisp all the way. So make sure they're golden brown around the edges and even towards the center. And that way you'll get once they cool down, they'll be nice and crisp. So that's going to take, depending on your oven, I'm going to say, I find in my oven around 13, 14 minutes. So I'm going to say 12 to 15, check them. Like I said, you like them nice and crisp. You want them golden brown around the edges. Okay. Okay, so our butter cookies are done. So put your pan on a wire rack. This is how I like, see golden brown around the edges. I didn't say, but rotate your baking sheet front to back about halfway through baking, gives a more even bake. So this is how I like them. They're going to be crisp. Well, I'll tell you when I try one, but crisp all the way through. Like I said, you can adjust the baking time to suit you and how they look, but this is how I like them. So I'm going to let them cool like a couple minutes, and then I'll use my spatula to transfer them to a wire rack to finish cooling, and when they've cooled down to room temperature, we will come back and try one. So they've cooled down, we're ready to try one. So That's the back. You can see golden brown on the bottom. I love these cookies. They're addictive. Oh, my dog, Carrie, really likes these. They're just so crisp. Like the amount I baked them, they're crisp all the way through. Buttery sweet. You know, I just love like to nibble on these maybe when I have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, midday. They're just perfect. Like I said, you could take these baked cookies and melt some chocolate and dip half of them in the melted chocolate. Like I said, you could take two and make a sandwich cookie. Like I said at the beginning, buttercream frosting, favorite jam, ganache, lemon curd, whatever you like. But they are a great cookie. They will last like this. They will, if you cover and store them, they'll last at least a couple weeks. You can freeze them. Like I said, you can freeze the unbaked, the logs. A great cookie to do ahead, and they store so well. They taste so good. They're just a perfect cookie. So you must try them. And until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com.